Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. A peaceful farm, a woman returning with her child, and a man torn between love and duty. But what secret hides beneath Lytuna's silence? Why did Alex suddenly collapse when he discovered the truth? Was it truly betrayal, or just a cruel misunderstanding? And when Alex turned away in doubt, did he lose the only love that could have given him peace? Or is this just the beginning of a deeper story? Stay with us until the end, because every glance, every silence, and every unanswered word will lead you closer to the truth. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button to support us in reaching 1,000 followers. Your support means we can continue bringing you these unforgettable stories of love, secrets, and choices that change lives. The rain had just ended, leaving the earth damp, the air heavy with the scent of wet soil. Alex guided Lytuna and the baby through the narrow path back to the farm. Their steps echoed softly in the silence, as if nature itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what would unfold. Inside the house, Lytuna moved carefully, laying down little Henry in a shaded corner where the breeze could reach. The child's faint breathing seemed like the rhythm of a fragile promise, one that bound them together. Alex stood nearby, his hands restless, placing things here, adjusting there, as though arranging order outside could somehow calm the storm within. The farm, once lively, now bore the signs of absence, weeds overtaking the garden, dust gathering where her hands used to clean. Alex noticed it all, his gaze flickering between the neglected corners of the house and Lytuna's quiet figure. She looked smaller than he remembered, carrying both the weight of departure and the silent plea for acceptance. There was no loud confrontation, no dramatic return, only the soft scraping of a broom, the creak of an old fan, the sigh of someone returning home with unspoken guilt. Yet beneath that silence was a trembling hope that in this ordinary rhythm they might find a new beginning. Alex's eyes lingered on Lytuna, but he said little. The silence between them wasn't empty. It was heavy, fragile, like glass that could shatter with one wrong word. And so he chose stillness, trusting that sometimes the heart could speak more clearly without sound. The evening settled gently over the farm, the horizon painted with shades of fading gold. Inside, the soft hum of insects seeped through the wooden walls. Lytuna sat quietly, her hands folded in her lap, eyes lowered as though searching for words on the worn floorboards. At last she spoke, her voice trembling but clear. She confessed the truth that had driven her away, the revelation about Johnny not being her brother. The shock had shattered her composure, leaving her unable to face anyone. She admitted she had fled, not out of anger, but from the unbearable weight of confusion. Her words hung in the dim light, fragile, almost breaking. Alex listened, his gaze steady though his chest tightened with every syllable. The memory of searching for her, the sleepless nights filled with fear that she might never return. Those shadows resurfaced. Yet, as he looked at her now, weary but present, something inside him softened. "Don't think about it anymore," he murmured, his voice low, as though soothing a wound not visible to the eye. "I was never angry with you." His words carried the quiet steadiness of a river, offering her a place to rest. The air shifted, lighter, though silence still lingered between them. In that silence was forgiveness, not declared with grand gestures, but revealed in the way Alex's eyes no longer searched for explanations, only for her presence. Outside, the night deepened, and the stars began to scatter across the sky. Within the fragile stillness, there was a sense of beginning again. Not because the past had been erased, but because they had chosen to carry it together. Morning light spilled across the farm, soft and golden, painting everything with the tenderness of a new day. Lytuna carried Henry gently, while Alex swept the yard, the rhythm of his broom steady against the stone path. Their movements were simple, ordinary, yet within them lay the quiet poetry of two people relearning how to breathe in the same space. They worked side by side, feeding chickens, scattering bran for the fish, straightening the garden that had grown wild during her absence. The laughter of water splashing as the fish rose was met with small, fleeting smiles. Henry slept peacefully nearby, his tiny presence turning their labors into something more than chores. It was family, fragile and unspoken. Later, at the meal, Alex served her fish, eggs, and vegetables from the garden, insisting she eat more. His gestures were not extravagant. They were tender in their ordinariness, every plate of food a promise of care. Lytuna, touched by his attentiveness, felt a warmth stir within her. Though her eyes betrayed the weight of guilt still lingering in her heart. At one point, Alex placed his hand on the table, his gaze locking onto hers. "Promise me," he whispered, his voice strained with vulnerability, "that you won't leave again, no matter what happens." The silence that followed was heavier than any storm, broken only by the cry of cicadas outside. Lytuna nodded softly, her lips forming the words he longed to hear. And though the farm remained the same, the creaking beams, the rustling leaves, their world felt steadier, like soil watered after a long drought. The farm settled into a rhythm, clucking hens, the ripple of fish breaking the pond's surface, the quiet lull of Henry's breathing. Yet beyond its wooden fences, Alex's world stretched further. Piles of contracts, the promise of bamboo hills, and the anticipation of grapefruit harvests pulled at him like tides. He juggled ledgers by day and silence by night, torn between the pulse of business and the fragile peace he had found here. One evening, as Lytuna prepared vegetables from the garden, Alex sat nearby, distracted by documents spread across the table. His eyes lingered on numbers, yet his thoughts drifted to the woman moving gracefully under the lamplight. Every gesture she made carried an intimacy of care, a bowl placed just right, the way she hushed Henry's cry, reminding him that love wasn't always grand, but quietly persistent. Still, the weight of his role pressed hard. Deals needed closing, partners demanded certainty, and he feared that if he stumbled, everything, this fragile balance, this homecoming, would crumble. In the silence, he asked himself if peace was something he deserved, or if it was merely borrowed time before life demanded its due. Lytuna noticed his faraway gaze. She didn't speak, but set a dish before him and simply said, "Eat." That single word carried a softness that reached deeper than promises. For a moment, Alex closed his eyes, letting the warmth of her presence still the storm within. The night thickened outside, the cicadas calling an endless chorus, and Alex realized that between ambition and longing, the quiet of the farm was what his heart truly sought. The afternoon sun stretched across the fields, its golden light fragile against the coming dusk. Alex returned from the market with food, his mind heavy but his steps brisk. Inside the farmhouse, he found Lytuna humming softly to Henry, her hands rocking the cradle with a gentleness that pierced him. For a fleeting moment, everything seemed whole, until a whisper of truth shattered the stillness. A letter had slipped from among her things, its edges worn, its words sharp as knives. Alex read only fragments, enough to send the blood from his face, secrets that tied Lytuna's past to a truth he could not bear. His vision blurred, the room spun, and with a gasp, he collapsed onto the floor. The house filled with chaos. Henry's startled cry, Lytuna's trembling hands trying to rouse him, her voice breaking as she called his name. Neighbors rushed in, carrying Alex to the hospital, while Lytuna stood frozen, her heart pounding with dread. She had never meant for him to find out this way. At the hospital, machines beeped steadily, marking each fragile breath he drew. Lytuna sat at his bedside, her fingers clutching his motionless hand. The secret, though heavy, was not what he thought it to be. Yet she could not find the strength to defend herself, not when his face bore the shadow of betrayal. Silence pressed down like stone. Between them now lay not just memory, but a wound carved by misunderstanding, a wound that love alone might not heal. The hospital room was pale with fluorescent light, its silence broken only by the soft rhythm of Alex's breath. He drifted in and out of consciousness, caught in dreams that blurred memory with fear. Faces swirled before him. Lytuna's gentle eyes, Johnny's shadowed figure, his sister's voice calling him home. Yet beneath it all lingered a question that clawed at his chest. Had everything he believed been a lie? Lytuna sat nearby, her hands clasped, whispering words he could not hear. Her eyes brimmed with sorrow, yet she carried no anger, only the quiet ache of being misunderstood. The secret Alex had uncovered was not betrayal, but circumstance, an old truth twisted by time and silence. Still in his half-conscious state, he pieced together only fragments, and the fragments hurt. When he stirred awake, his gaze turned to her, heavy with doubt. The softness of the farm, the laughter over shared meals, Henry's peaceful breaths, all seemed like fragile illusions now. His voice cracked as he asked no questions, only turned his face away, a gesture sharper than words. Lytuna's tears fell silently, tracing paths down her cheeks. She wanted to speak, to defend herself, but chose instead to stay, believing time might heal what words could not. Outside the window, the night pressed close, the stars distant and cold, mirroring the gulf that had opened between them. And in that quiet room, Alex's heart trembled not from betrayal, but from the fear that love itself might have been a misunderstanding. Days slipped by, the farm waiting in silence as Alex recovered. His strength returned slowly, but his heart carried the weight of unanswered questions. Lytuna continued to care for him, quietly setting water by his bed, smoothing the sheets, rocking Henry to sleep just beyond the doorway. Her presence was steady, unwavering, but her eyes revealed a longing for him to see her truth. One evening, when the air outside was heavy with the scent of rain, Alex finally spoke. His voice was low, measured, almost brittle. "I thought I knew everything about you," he said, eyes fixed on the window where raindrops traced uncertain paths. "But what I found, it broke something in me." Lytuna's hands tightened around the edge of the chair. She wanted to plead, to explain that what he had read was only half a truth, that love had never deceived him. Yet, when she opened her mouth, only silence came, her courage faltering under the weight of his doubt. For a moment, their eyes met, his clouded with misunderstanding, hers glimmering with unspoken clarity. In that quiet collision, both knew words might fail them, but time still held the power to mend. "I don't want you to leave again," Alex murmured, his voice fragile yet determined. She nodded, a promise in her silence. Outside, the storm broke, washing the earth clean, though the air inside remained heavy. Their story did not end with resolution, but with the quiet endurance of two hearts still searching, between love and fear, between truth and misunderstanding. And perhaps the lesson lingered. Sometimes what wounds us most is not betrayal, but silence left too long unbroken.
Tử Na bế Henry trở về nông trại sau một thời gian xa cách, gặp lại Alex luôn lo lắng về chăm sóc tận tình. Giữa khung cảnh thanh bình, cả hai cùng làm việc nấu ăn chăm con, khơi lại hy vọng một mái ấm bình yên giữa một bí mật bất ngờ. Alex phát hiện khiến anh sốc đến mức xỉu phải nhập viện. Trong cơn hôn mê, Alex tin rằng Tử Na đã phản bội, để lại khoảng cách đau đớn giữa họ. Tử Na lặng lẽ ở bên chăm sóc, muốn giải thích những bất lực trước sự nghi ngờ. Khi tỉnh lại, Alex chỉ còn im lặng, ánh mắt nhìn xa cách. Câu chuyện khép lại bằng sự bỡ ngỡ. Phải chăng tình yêu đã bị hiểu lầm, hay thời gian sẽ trả lời sự thật?